ever watch those storm chaser videos where people are like showing pictures of tornadoes in the background saying it's not that bad, it's not going to impact their house, it's going the other way, and then like 10 minutes later in the video, their barn is airborne, the furniture is like on its way to fucking Kansas. That's the US job market and economy right now. But let's start first with the July job report. This is new numbers that are just out. Remember, these are forecasts. They haven't fully, come into fruition. Just like you try to predict your electric bill, you don't know for sure until the end of the month. And this month, they're saying that about 73,000 jobs were added to the U.S. job market, just kind of on the low side. Again, this is also the beginning of the slow period in the economy. Let's look at the revisions they made for May and June. Yeah, you're not misreading this. They revised it to show we actually had 258,000 less jobs than were predicted in May and June. May went from 144,000 predicted jobs down to a piddly 19,000. And as you can see, June went from 147,000 to 14. This really shows that this isn't just like some 1 month fluke. We are literally on a slow moving collapse that is definitely starting to catch up with us. The same can be said when it comes to the tariffs and the economic bite on our wallets. That is just now starting to happen. I realize, MAGA, that you don't do long-term consequences. You don't understand delayed impact. Cheer about these short-term dips in prices, and now in about a month you're going to be scratching your heads when you see that the job market is fluctuating sharply and your shelves are starting to look thin. And you may find yourself asking, how did I get here? And I'll explain. See, when Trump announced the tariffs and the impending deadlines back in February and March, exporters front-loaded U.S. port, okay? Meaning that they beefed up the stockpile, which gave you the impression that, we're strong, we're fine, it'll be okay, we can handle these tariffs. Now these stockpiles are very thin, and reality is going to kick in very quickly. I know, I'm going to hear this other nonsense about how, look, the price of eggs has gone down, groceries are cheaper. No, they're not. They've stopped skyrocketing. Remember, Caroline Levitt, she had said, we promised that we're going to stabilize pricing. She said stabilize, not reduce. And here we are. You can see by this data, yes, eggs may have dropped $1, but meat, bread, high as hell. Also see that a lot of the cheaper goods, they're coming in smaller boxes with less inside of them. That's called shrinkflation. To really appreciate how tariffs are impacting you, look at the number of groceries that you're getting for the amount that you're paying. Look at the size of your food on your plate or the portion. How much it's costing you to maintain your usual portion. I think you already know this. I'm just putting it out there for those in the back. You're going, well, even so, we had all of these great wins on his tariff deals lately. It'll be fine. Ain't no gain without a little pain. Really. You want to talk about trade deal wins? Let's dig into that for a minute. Look at the recent EU deal that he made. The EU promised to buy $750 billion in U.S. energy, right? And I think we agreed it was 15% tariff cap on that, along with them promising an additional $600 billion in return investment. Okay, here's an analogy. I hope that helps this make sense, because that sounds like a good deal, apparently, to many, which is ridiculous. But here's my analogy. Hear me out. Imagine you and your neighbor trade lumber, okay? They agree to buy $10,000 worth of lumber from you if you agree to buy $8,000 in lumber from them. Is the light bulb going off? Is it going off up here? You basically just swapped planks and shook hands. You're maybe, benefiting $2,000? Kind of what we saw with the EU. It was basically a zero-sum win. What world is trading sideways like that considered a win? That doesn't even significantly shrink the trade deficit. And consider the fact that how often do we get these commitments from these other countries and then they don't follow through? We see this all the time. This is the exact problem he's bitching about, and then he goes around and makes the same kind of stupid fucking deals. Now, big picture, obviously, Trump is hoping that all of this slowdown and everything else that's happening because, again, we're running out of supplies. He's hoping that this will lead to a rate cut, since apparently all of the threats against Jerome Powell is not working. Essentially, it's kind of like his trade deals. I feel like he's timing the pain so it looks like a fix is coming right before the midterm. The reality is, two of the Fed's governors, they've completely broken rank this past week. And I think that's because they're recognizing the job market weakness that we saw from those revised numbers for May and June. So clearly all of this, when you think about it, it's clearly not a comeback. It's not. We're witnessing and feeling the outer bands of the proverbial economic hurricane coming onto our shore. Clearly some of y'all are going to still be standing out on your porches thinking, it's not that bad, while your barn's already gone and the sky is getting darker.